WJAR is the NBC-affiliated television station for the state of Rhode Island and Bristol County, Massachusetts, licensed to Providence. It broadcasts a high-definition digital signal on UHF Channel 51 from a transmitter in Rehoboth, Massachusetts. Owned by Sinclair Broadcast Group, the station shares studios on Kenny Drive in Cranston with ZGS Communications-owned Telemundo affiliate WRIWCD. History: WJAR-TV signed on for the first time on July 10, 1949, broadcasting on Channel 11. It was Rhode Island's first television station and the fourth in New England. It was owned by the Outlet Company, a department store chain headquartered in Providence, along with WJAR Radio. It moved to Channel 10 in 1953. In 1952, after hearing about repeated instances of interference in Connecticut between WJAR-TV and New York's WPIX, the FCC changed the television allocations for Providence and forced the station to move to Channel 10, which it did in the spring of 1953. At that time, WJAR's coverage area increased, since the interference with WPIX had been rectified. WJAR-TV initially carried programming from all four networks of the time, but has always been a primary NBC affiliate due to WJAR Radio's long affiliation with NBC Radio. Despite this, WJAR only carried a little more than half of NBC's program schedule during its early years on the air. WJAR also broadcast about half of the CBS network schedule and a couple of shows each from ABC and Dumont every week. It lost ABC in 1953 when WNET-TV signed on, and lost CBS in 1955 when WPRO-TV launched. When WNET-TV went dark in 1956, WJAR shared ABC programming with WPRO-TV until WTEV signed on in 1963. During the late 1950s, WJAR-TV was also briefly affiliated with the NTA Film Network. In 1954, WJAR-TV received national attention for its coverage of Hurricane Carol. Newsreel films shot by WJAR cameramen of the storm and its aftermath not only appeared on the station, but also fed to CBS and NBC for use on their evening news programs. For many years in the 1970s, WJAR-TV broadcast men's basketball games of Providence College and the University of Rhode Island, with Chris Clark calling play-by-play. In the early 1970s, when PC was one of the top teams in the country, their home games at the newly opened Providence Civic Center were often sellouts, despite the fact that WJAR televised many of these home games live. In November 1980, the Outlet Company left the department store business to concentrate on broadcasting. A year earlier, the station moved its studios from the Outlet building to a three-story modern production facility next door. The department store remained standing until 1986, when it burned to the ground in a spectacular fire. WJAR cameras perched on the neighboring rooftop captured the most dramatic footage. In April 1993, the station's studios were moved to their current location in an industrial area of Cranston just south of Providence. 3 years later, Outlet Communications merged with NBC. In April 1997, WJAR began to operate primary WB and secondary UPN affiliate WLWC under a local marketing agreement. Even by the time that station signed on, the future of the LMA was in doubt given the fact that NBC, which inherited the arrangement from Outlet, did not want to run stations outside their core owned and operated outlets. The network, during this time, pushed FAN to sell WLWC. In September 1997, NBC came up with a three-way swap in which fans exchanged WLWC and sister station WWHO in Columbus. Ohio to Paramount, Viacom for that group's NBC affiliate in Hartford, Connecticut. WVIT. WJAR was one of 4 NBC O&Os in smaller markets that were put up for sale on January 9, 2006, along with stations in Columbus, Birmingham, Alabama, and Raleigh, North Carolina. Except for the Birmingham station, these were also once owned by Outlet. On April 6, 2006, NBC Universal and Media General announced that Media General would purchase WJAR as part of a $600 million 4-station deal between the two companies. The deal was approved by the Federal Communications Commission on June 26. As a result, WJAR became Media General's first television station in New England. For all intents and purposes, this undid the NBC-Outlet merger a decade earlier. During the April 2007 nor'easter, WJAR's over-the-air digital transmitter was damaged. Both digital signals, WJAR HD and WJAR DT2, were knocked off the air. The outage did not affect digital cable or satellite services, as they do not get the signal from the digital transmitter. In its earliest days, WJAR's logo included a Rhode Island red rooster, the state bird of Rhode Island. Prior to WJAR's purchase by NBC, it had included various versions of a different stylized 10 above the WJAR call letters. This had been in effect for the previous 20 years. The stylized 10 was initially retained after the purchase, but with the NBC peacock attached to the right-hand side and the call letters removed. This was dropped in 2002 in favor of an NBC 10 logo first used on former sister station WCAU in Philadelphia. A modified version, used on newscasts starting in 2007, was designed and arranged similarly to other Media General station logos. In February 2014, both versions of that logo were replaced with the station's current logo. On March 21, 2014, Lin Media entered into an agreement to merge with Media General in a $1.6 billion deal. Because Lin already owns CBS affiliate WPRI and operates Fox affiliate WNAC-TV, and the two stations rank among the 4 highest-rated stations in the Providence market in total day viewership. The companies were required to sell either WJAR or WPRI-TV to another station owner in order to comply with FCC ownership rules, as well as planned changes to those rules regarding same-market television stations which would prohibit sharing agreements. The grandfathered LMA involving WNAC will be included in the sale but must remain with WPRI-TV due to the grandfathered status. On August 20, 2014, Media General announced that it would keep WPRI and the LMA with WNAC and sell WJAR, along with WLUK-TV and WCWF in Green Bay and WTGS in Savannah, Georgia, to Sinclair Broadcast Group in exchange for KXRM-TV and KXTULD in Colorado Springs and WTTA in Tampa Bay. The sale was completed on December 19, marking Sinclair's return to owning a Providence market station after a year and a half, as it owned WLWC from January 2012 until April 2013. Digital television. Digital channels. The station's digital signal is multiplexed. The station's digital signal is multiplexed. In January 2009, WJAR began broadcasting the Retro Television Network on its second digital channel and digital cable. WJAR DT2 had previously carried NBC Weather Plus. WJAR replaced RTV with MeTV on September 26, 2011. As part of a group-wide affiliation agreement with Media General, the channel replaced RTV on some Media General-owned stations in other markets. Analog to digital conversion. WJAR discontinued regular programming on its analog signal over VHF Channel 10 on February 17, 2009. The original date in which full-power television stations in the United States were to transition from analog to digital broadcasts under federal mandate. The station's digital signal remained on its pre-transition UHF channel 51, using PSIP to display the station's virtual channel as its former VHF analog channel 10. This allowed Shop NBC station WWDP to begin operation of its permanent digital facility on Channel 10. Other Massachusetts channels. WJAR has traditionally been available in many other Massachusetts municipalities outside of Bristol County, mainly in Plymouth County and Cape Cod. On December 8, 2011, cable operator Comcast had to move WJAR off Channel 10 outside of the county, because WWDP notified him that they wanted to be carried on Channel 10. Comcast was forced to comply due to federal must-carry laws. As a result, WJAR can also be seen in many non-Bristol County, Massachusetts towns and cities on the following channels: Channel 96, Bridgewater, Brockton, East Bridgewater, Falmouth, Holbrook, Martha's Vineyard, Plymouth, Sandwich, and West Bridgewater. Channel 99, Bellingham, Blackstone, Canton, Foxborough, Franklin, Hopedale, Lakeville, Marion, Medfield, Mendon, Middleborough, Milford, Norfolk, Norwood, Sharon, Wrentham, and Wareham. Channel 23, Barnstable, Chatham, Dennis, Eastham, Mashpee, Nantucket, Provincetown, and Yarmouth. Ocean State Networks. On May 2, 2012, WJAR partnered with Cox Communications to launch Ocean State Networks. This channel replaces News Channel 5, operated by Cox and WLNE from November 30, 1998 until February 1, 2012, when WJAR programming first appeared on the channel. OSN airs NBC 10 newscasts throughout the day and night, as well as Cox sports programming, including live local high school and collegiate sports events. Teams featured on OSN include the Pawtucket Red Sox, Providence Friars, Rhode Island Rams, and the Rhode Island Interscholastic League. The channel is exclusively available to Cox cable subscribers on Channel 5 and in high definition on Channel 1005. As a result of the launch of OSN, Cox Sports was removed from the lineup, with all programming being moved to OSN programming. Besides WJAR, NBC 10's local news programming, WJAR's programming includes NBC's standard nationwide early morning, daytime, and primetime programming with the NBC Kids programming block broadcasting on Saturdays. Syndicated programming on WJAR includes The Tim McCarver Show, The Rachel Ray Show, Live with Kelly and Michael, Crime Watch Daily, Extra, Full Measure with Sharyl Attkisson, and Ellen. News operation. For most of its history, WJAR has been the dominant, #1 station in the Providence, Rhode Island, New Bedford, Massachusetts market. WPRI is consistently in second place, while WLNE has usually been a distant third. This can be attributed to being the state's oldest station, as well as its association with its well-established radio sisters. In all 4 Nielsen ratings periods in 2014, the station was #1 in all time slots. In mid-1988, WJAR broke a tradition of its market. It began broadcasting news on weekdays at 5:30 p.m. with the 5:30 report, that included the top stories of the day, plus a cooking segment, weather and entertainment news. It was expanded to 1 hour in January 1995, and was restructured as a conventional newscast. On 2 occasions, WJAR has produced a prime-time newscast at 10. The first began in April 1997 and was seen weeknights on WLWC in competition to the WPRI-produced show on Fox affiliate WNAC-TV. The broadcast was dropped that September when the LMA with WLWC ended. The second attempt has been airing on weeknights since October 1, 2007, when the station began producing NBC 10 News 10 at 10 on its NBC Weather Plus digital subchannel. It was originally a live 10-minute production consisting of top stories of the day along with an updated weather forecast. When WJAR DT2 switched to RTV, the show expanded to a half-hour and was renamed NBC 10 News 10 at 10 on RTV. A new segment was added called Flashback, which features vintage footage of past personnel. WLNE occasionally aired news at that time when it operated Cox Channel 5 as News Channel 5, primarily when sports preempted WNAC's newscast. On September 6, 2010, WJAR began airing the area's second newscast weeknights at 7, joining WLNE. However, it also airs on Saturday nights, unlike the other channel's weeknight production. WLNE's newscast was officially cancelled in April 2011. WJAR is notable for having employed 3 NBC Today show personalities. Both the current co-host of Today, Matt Lauer, and former co-host Meredith Vieira worked at WJAR. Vieira started out as a reporter on the station in the late 1970s, while Lauer was co-host of WJAR's version of PM Magazine in the early 1980s. In 2012, former WJAR meteorologist Dylan Dreyer began doing weekend weather on Today. Other notable alumni include CNN chief international correspondent Christiane Amanpour and ESPN anchor Steve Berthiaume. In 2008, WJAR was awarded the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence for a small market television station. In 2010, the station's website won a second National Murrow. In 2011, the station won its third National Murrow in a row, this time in the Breaking News category for its coverage of recent historic flooding. In 2012, the station's website won a regional Edward R. Murrow Award. On May 16, 2011, WJAR became the first station in the Providence market to air newscasts in high definition. A new set was constructed for the transition to HD and debuted on NBC 10 News Sunrise that morning. Photos of the set as it was being built were posted on the station's Facebook page. During construction, newscasts were broadcast from a temporary set in the station's Studio B. Several technological upgrades were also made. In addition to its main studios, WJAR operates 2 news bureaus. The Bay State Newsroom is located at the old Standard Times building on Pleasant Street in New Bedford. The Down City Bureau is on Dorrance Street in downtown Providence. The station uses a live weather radar feed from the National Weather Service's local forecast office on Miles Standish Boulevard in Taunton, Massachusetts. Notable current on-air staff: Patrice Wood, anchor, weeknights at 500-611 p.m. Jean Valaisancher, anchor, weeknights at 506 p.m. Notable former employees: Christiane Amanpour, CNN, ABC News; Brooke Anderson, CNN; Denise Leclerc-Cobb, CNN Headline News; Steve Berthiaume, ESPN; Dylan Dreyer, NBC News; Jack Edwards, ESPN, NESN; Matt Lauer, Today on NBC; Catherine Tappan, NBC Sports, NBCSN; Meredith Vieira, NBC News; Doug White, WGBH, WPRI.